Alright, looks like everything's good. Let me throw on some music. And we'll get started. So, Camo, I hope you're still here. But yes, to answer your question, I will be streaming tonight. I saw you kind of put that in my chat before I started, so here I am. So as the title suggests, I'm going to be moving my dungeon gen into Unity, which I've already done. I've been tinkering with it a little bit. But if I can show you it working in action. I'll do a fairly big sized dungeon room, 30 by 30, generate. So you can see it generates the room like we want with the floors. If I do it again, I'll get some doors in there. Yeah. So now you can see it made 2 rooms, each of them having a connected doorway. So that's pretty cool. And then I have this set camera position button that just sets my camera position, because my camera will follow my character. And so I have to give it the bounds, which is bounds are set to the top left corner and the bottom right corner of the room. And it'll move around until it hits a wall, and then it stops moving, much like the Legend of Zelda camera. So that is pretty cool. So what I want to do today, what I want to set up for this one is get these doors working. So what I want is, when I pass through this door, I move on to this next room. Sorry about that, was talking to roommates. So, yeah, so you can see down here my player has moved into the second room, because obviously there's no restrictions. But what I would like is to have him actually have the camera change. Have it change its position. So let's get on that. So we have the door. I made some prefabs for each of these objects. So we have the northeast corner, north, northwest, the path, which is the floor, southeast, south path, southwest, east path, west path, and then door. And if we go into the dungeon manager, you can see that each of those are defined with those prefabs. And then I defined what's called a room, which just has a room script on it, which defines the size, the position, how many enemies are in the room, and then what type of enemy goes in that room. So what I need then is for this door to have some kind of collider on it. So if I just pull this door up to a random spot. Ooh. Actually, you know what? I'll edit it from inside the prefab. So if I do a box collider 2D, and then do edit collider, programmy whammy, hello. Hey AJ, how's it going, man? So we'll set the hitbox to be like that. So you're kind of walking, you'll be walking kind of on top of it, but that's just for this door. Obviously, in theory, I would have doors facing different directions. And we'll say is trigger. Okay. And then I believe what I want on that as well, if I go to my grids, so I have these little transitions. Aha, the scene change script. That's exactly what I want. but it targets a room. So I need to be able to define which room it's targeting. Room manager. Oh, right. What does my room manager script do? So that sets it as the active room. Okay. Yeah, we can do a room manager on the dungeon manager. That's no problem. So if I go back over to dungeon manager, add component, room manager, hit enter. We'll drag this above, just that way, so it's easier to see. Damn it! Come on, get up there. Get up there. Oh, God. Open prefab. There. Okay, there we go. Sometimes Unity is a pain in the ass, but that's okay. Let's remove this component then. So we have this one. Why is this one still here? Applied to prefab, yes. That's why it was still there, because I'm using prefabs. So we have our room manager, and what we want to do is get that component in our dungeon manager and tell it, hey, our starting room is this first one that we make. So I'll just make a quick reference to it. This will be private room manager room manager get return get component of type room manager semicolon. There we go. So now I'll just have access to my room manager. And when we're done, when we set our camera position, we can say, hey, room manager, your starting room is equal to this dot rooms, which is our rooms I, right? Starting room is a game object. Yeah. There we go. So then really I might not need the camera position if I have the room manager. That might be the move. Because the room manager is going to do the exact same thing. It's going to get the coordinates, get the bounds of the room. No, that's what scene change is going to do. Writer says he's not opposed to having Friday night Valorant over Siege night, so... Yeah, that's true. It is full of cancer lately. But so is every game. And I actually do enjoy Valorant, even though I pretend like I don't sometimes, or act like I don't sometimes. Anyway, so what I want on the doors then is the scene change script that I wrote. And that is going to tell our thing how to change rooms. Change room. And then, no, not change scene. So then when we create it, so we got to find each door on our object in our room, give it the room manager, and then figure out what target room it's going to be, and give it the camera. So this will be fun. Thankfully, a lot of this code was written in advance, so I'm just kind of piggybacking off of it. It's sort of meshing it all together, but that's what the dungeon manager is for. It's taking all these different code sets and saying, hey, use them all at once now. So, So we have build all rooms. So what we want to do, let's do a function real quick. That's just public void find doors. And this will be based on room game object room. So this will be based off the current room we're in. I didn't need to do that twice, but here we are. So, okay, so once we find the... So we got that. So we want to, after we're done looping, we want to say loop through it again, I guess. Maybe not the best way, but let's start there. Let's give ourselves a starting point. So let's loop through it again. This time we're looking for the door object, any door object. Actually, we don't have to loop through it again. We can say get a list of all door objects. And because we have the room, we're able to know the adjacent rooms to it. So yeah, this will work. So we'll say var doors equals room dot tiles dot where t fat arrow notation t is equal to, and then we'll say north door, or t is equal to south door, or t is equal to east door, or t is equal to west door. Dot to list. Perfect. So that'll get us all the doors attached to the room that are equal to that. So then from there we can use those doors, set target clamps, target rooms, and other useless, no, and other info. So once we have our doors, we'll just loop through each of them. For each var door indoors door dot. So we want to get a component. So let's say no, we don't want to set the component. We don't want to copy. We want the actual component. So door dot get component of type scene change. Dot room manager equals room manager right off the bat. Excuse me. That's right. This. No. Game object. There we go. Okay, so I need to send room manager the game object that is the room manager, which in this case is our dungeon manager. How many times can I say manager before it becomes not a word? So dot. Okay, that's a little too bright. I'm gonna go into my scene change real quick. Okay, I gotta close out all this other stuff. I'm not working with it right now. This is working on a combat system, but we're not using that, so we will close it for now. This is all I want open. Scene change. Change scene doesn't do anything, but change room does. Okay. I don't remember what I wanted change scene to do, but I'm sure that I had a good reason. Where was I? Dungeon manager. So we want to say target room. Now target room depends on which door this is. So if it's the north door, we want to target the room to north. If it's the south door, we want to target the room to south. That sort of thing. So we'll come back to that. Then there was something else. Target or player change. We do want to also have player change. And that also depends on what type of door it is. I guess the rest of these do depend on what type of door it is. And then camera change. Ah, yes, camera. That's what I need to set. Cam equals main camera. Okay. So now let's do a switch based on door. Now we don't want to do a switch on door. We want to do an if else block. If door is equal to north door, then we want all of this, and we want target room equals room dot to north, and that should be just your north dot game object. Oh crap. We don't want crap. Okay. Dot room? No. Okay. So the problem is I'm building a room type here, but I'm not setting that anywhere on the room object. I wonder if I could do a partial class. Let me try something here. Public partial class. Dungeon generation. We'll do room and then put it in a different namespace. That's what we'll do. Okay, so then now I have a partial open, so I can say, hey, use the room not from a namespace, but the problem is it's not in a namespace. Because that's not how Unity works. I'm trying to think. Okay. So we have the room game object here. We're setting all the different things on it here. What I need is to be able to access that game object from here. Do I need to? What does target room need? for the room manager. Right. Okay. Well, this just got a lot more complicated than I thought it was going to be. Give me 1 second, I'll be right back. Alright, sorry about that. So... okay. So let's forget about this right now. Let's just do the player change and the camera change, because those are just vectors that we can get. So the camera change we want to be... so if it's the north door, we only want to move it down. So it can still be its current X position. No, we want to move it up. So, well, it's still going to be its current X position. Dot X. And then dot Y. Wait, vectors can do plus equals. Right? We do plus equals 1? No. Marbles turning. You go have fun. Does it float? No. Dang. Thought that was something I could do. Unfortunate. I don't know, you got me interested in that that choices chamber. That seemed pretty fun. I might have to try that sometime. And then I know Ryder recommended a couple more dungeon crawler type, so yeah, definitely I'm definitely gonna have to try some of those. That seemed pretty cool. Yeah, you picked up like what, 5 followers off of that? That's awesome, man. Gonna eat my Chick-fil-A. 6 was awesome. Nice, nice, dude. Okay, so we want the change.y plus the room dot to north dot height. And in only 90 minutes. Yeah, that's awesome. Definitely found something that is good for your channel then. And then the player change will be new vector 2 0 2. I think that's how I handle that. Let me check something. Player change, yep, so 0 and okay. And the camera change also 0 if we're not moving the X. Right, because we're, yeah. Duh, me, you stupid idiot. I might have to change the little little structure I made in the generation script to not be vector 2 because it gets confused with Unity's vector 2 a lot. And that's annoying. Okay, so that's 0. So right now we're only getting north and south doors. Let me just... try this with the north and south door, just to see if everything's working. Actually, yeah, no, never mind. Yeah, this should be fine. So if I look at a room right now, and find one of the doors. Okay, so I didn't apply that to the... That's because it was already created. So if I remove this, if I rebuild this little rooms, these rooms. Oh, had a 3 in there. There we go. And then check the door, scene change, and box collider with nothing set. Right, because I didn't call that function, because I'm an idiot. So after everything, we'll do it after the room manager, and we'll just say find doors. Alright. Oh no, I need I need to do it as I'm looping through the rooms. So here, let's room. There we go. Okay. So now let that save, let that catch up. Come back up here. Let's destroy this room. Let's just smush this. Let's just move this back over here. So dungeon manager generate. Generate. What's happening? It worked though, so that's good. But now why are we only creating one room? Okay, let's figure this out. So if we... Let's comment out that. Let's scroll back up. Close this. Minimize that. Destroy. Generate. Okay, so something with the find doors script is throwing that off. So if we do this, let it refresh a bit. Clear. Destroy. Generate. Destroy. Clear. Generate. So, find doors is throwing an error about something. So let's see. Let's see why. Give that a minute to catch up. Okay. Destroy, generate. Generate. And what line was that at? 141. So there was no... Oh. There's no scene change component on one of these? Weird that it would... Oh. Or room.2 north. South. Ah, see, the problem is the north door, the south door, the east door, and the west door are literally all the same door. So, if I go back into the dungeon manager, sorry about all the interruptions. House is bustling today. So these doors objects, these are all the exact same. They're all this one door. So what I'll do real quick is just do a Control C, V, V, V. I think I just crashed Unity. Nope, it still works. Okay, I just can't do a... Can I duplicate? I can't. So what I need to do then is go find the image that it uses. The door object. Can't even begin to remember which one it uses. Sprite renderer, overworld 210. Where am I right now? 748. Okay. 237. 219. Right there. 210. So I'll drag 3 of these into the thing. This will be east door, west door, and south door. Again, obviously I'll have different textures in the real thing, but these are just test textures. Each of these need a scene change script and a box collider 2D. And then they all need their each individual ones. So south door, the box collider is going to be more up here. West door, the box collider is going to be to the right. And then east door to the left. And that should be good. And then what I'll do is move back into prefabs, rename this to be north door. Rename file. And then take this, this, and this. Can't do that. I really wish this would stop maximizing the room. Really don't want that to do that. South door. West door. East door. Okay. And then in the dungeon manager, we'll say east door goes to east door, south door goes to south door, and west door goes to west door. So it was returning null because it was finding the exact same doors when it really shouldn't have been. Or when I really didn't want it to, because it was the exact same door. So that was the problem. So destroy. Let's go back into console, clear everything, generate. Generate. Okay. So we got the right doors this time, so this is the... No, this is the north door. This is the south door. My script might be flipped. Dungeon generation. Place doors. So the last room, if this direction is north, let me just flip these around and see if that fixes it. And then I'll worry about the other ones here in a bit. I have to say though, doing the legwork in that console app and then plugging into Unity was a huge help. Because if I had to do this all using Unity, I would have done it differently and probably not gotten such a nice result out of it. Destroy, generate. Much better. And this is the south door, and this is the north door. So I just had it reversed. And now it's working. And this should move it -2. And the script is already on my player to do the change scene. Oh wait, the doors. Yeah, they don't have is trigger set. So let me do that real quick. In this, just want to be is trigger. There you go. And then I really wish it would stop maximizing. It's getting annoying. Generate. And is this door now a... Yeah. Oh, it's maximizing because I'm clicking on the individual door. That's why. Because I'm an idiot like that. But now if I run it, in theory, I should be able to cross that door. And the camera should move with me. Or I'm just going to walk right through it. Why did that happen? Well, let's check it out. So we have the scene change. Oh, I bet I didn't mark these to be... Yeah, these aren't marked to do the actual scene change. There we go. That was why. Yeah. So let's regenerate. Regenerate. There we go. So we got a 2-room dungeon. Now if I move... Okay, the variable cam of scene change has not been assigned. What do you mean? What do you mean it's not been assigned? It's right there. You're gonna make me go in here And do the annoying thing, aren't you? Oh. You haven't been set. So why is that? And I don't want to move it. I looked at the thing and that was wrong. I don't want to move it plus the position it's already at. I just want to move it. So moving it down would be negative, moving it up would be positive. It's the height of the room. That's all I want. So why did our door not get the room manager or the camera? Well, let's check it out. Let's regenerate the dungeon. Regenerate the dungeon. So it did get the camera. Okay, that time I got the camera. Maybe that code hadn't loaded yet. Sure, let's go with that. Okay. So what happened there? Well, our camera change was 120. Why was it 120? We don't want it to be 120. Let's regenerate the room. Got a third room this time. Let's click on our door. So minus 30, and this should be plus 30. Yeah. So let's try that. We might just be getting some bad caches every now and again, and that's why it's doing that. It works, though. The reason it's glitching like that is because I'm not teleporting the character. So it's hitting both of those triggers and moving it back and forth. But it is changing the scene. So if I move this over here, or not changing the scene, changing the room. Zoom out, and then click back into the game. You can see the camera readjusts to be on this room, and the guy continues to move this way. That is pretty cool. Now let me check the value that I'm supposed to actually be. Player change is -2. -2. Okay, so yeah, I'm not doing anything different than the other one, just setting it to 2. So why is our player change not happening? What if I set the player change to be, let's say, 5 and 5. Regenerate the room. Actually, while we're still in the game, did that move me 5? No. Let's go test the bottom door. Make sure the bottom door works. Heck yeah. So you can see I'm in the bottom room now. That's awesome. Super happy that that works. So now we have our Legend of Zelda style camera where it mounts itself on the walls and follows the player when it's not on a wall. And then also changes the room like that. So the Binding of Isaac and Legend of Zelda room change style. That's super cool. I'm super happy about that. That's awesome. Our room manager's starting room is not getting set for some reason. Oh, that's because I'm dumb. That's why that's not happening. And so it wouldn't change much, but now that we have this room manager starting room, that's exactly what my camera position's doing. It's looking for that first room in a list. So I could really save myself some space, but that's okay. So now here's actually because the room manager. Okay, so the room manager, what I had that doing was loading and unloading based on if the player was in the room or not. That way we're not loading that many tiles onto the game at once. So we could find out how to access the room object, this, based on the code, based on the room to north. Trying to think. Because if we could do that, we could reapply the room manager and let it set active and inactive rooms. Because what that would do then is, like, this is the starting room, so this room would be disabled and this room would be disabled. So then it's not loaded in until we go into that room, and then this one's loaded up and this one is disabled. Like that. So that's kind of what I want to do. And I was able to do that with this because these were hard to find grids. This was a different thing I was working on. This was just putting together some tile sets. But that uses the room manager. So if I just disable the dungeon manager right now. Oh wait, I gotta enable the room manager as well. So by doing this, you can see it gets rid of those other two rooms because this one is the active room. And obviously now my camera is all screwed up because I changed it. But that's okay, because we really won't be using this anymore. This was just me doing other things. But that's what I want this to do. So, how do we do that? That is the question. we have the array of rooms. So we would know that. But what we wouldn't know is those rooms in relation to each other without the room script, the room class from the generation script. Because this is what has the adjacency references, not this one. Unless, I guess, what I could do just do this. Because like I said, I'm not using that other room object anymore. So I can just get the details from this. So then, in find doors, target room can be room.toNorth. No. Room.details? No. See, that's the problem. But I guess if I send it a different way, so instead of asking for a room game object, I ask for the room, or ask for a game object of room. Then I say room dot get component room dot details dot tiles. Ah, shit. There we go. That's what I want. So it starts to make it look very messy, but hopefully that'll be okay. So I have the game room object, or room game object. Mixed all those words around. And so I want my target room to be room.getComponent of type room.details.toNorth. No, because now we're back to where we started. Because there's no way to access the component from that level. Unless in here I say public partial class dungeon generation dot room t. Is that not? So if I redefine it as that, does that work? Probably not. Using dungeon generation. What if I do that? No, that won't work. Thought maybe if I could just define a partial class, I could do that, but I can't, so no bother trying. But I need to be able to access the game object from that. So I could, I guess, say... Let me do this instead, actually. Get rid of this. We don't want this. We want... namespace, dungeon generation, public, partial, class, room, t, referencing, room. So that should be good. So then I can say room, game object, room again. But then I should also be able to say room dot to north dot game object. Yep. There we go. And so obviously that'll only take place in the Unity, so this, it still leaves this to be, ooh, we'll say partial on this one. That's all that needs. So that'll allow the room to get redefined, and in this case use it like this, which is what I want. So I can just have that in one line. Cool. Kind of surprised that worked. I have expected that to not work. Actually, I fully expected that to not work. Okay. So we do that for the rest of them then. Dot game object. We want this to be south. But that is cool. So then, okay, give it a minute to catch up with itself. And then we'll say generate. Generate. Aha. We ran into an issue. Let's get rid of all these debugs now. I don't need these. These were from when I was working on stuff, testing things. Okay. Let's go back over here, let it catch up. Generate. I have no idea. Okay. So get game object at find doors, line 141. So 141 is the first object where we find it. So it can't get the game object? Because at this point they should all exist, right? No, they don't. Okay. So actually then, that means my room object needs to change. And my room script, get rid of it. And instead say room. If I edit this. That's okay, that's kind of what I figured. So I want to be able to access this now instead. But I guess it's not its own script, that's why. So if we do dungeon generation, because I apparently can talk very well. Scripts, add, class. We'll call this D room for dungeon. And then all we're gonna do is move this over there. And actually, that's good. That's all we need. We don't need to move the whole thing, we just need to move just that line telling us, hey, this is where I'm at. So now if we add component, we can do D room? No, because it wasn't made with Unity in mind. Alright. Let me try it. Let me just try to drag it on there manually. No, I guess I need to have the room selected. Make sure that there are no compilers and that the file name and the class name match. Ah. Okay. So we run into a problem again. So room needs to be able to access. Actually, you know what? Room T, room of type T, dungeon room, just needs to be able to access the game object. So we can say game object equals new game object using Unity Engine. There we go. Equals new game object get return. No, I don't want to do this. I want to do this dot. What? Public game object. God, I'm an idiot. Get return this dot game object. New. Can I not do that? No, that's not gonna work. I'm puzzled. I am perfectly puzzled now. I guess, no. Yeah, the issue, I'm an idiot. The issue wasn't that, the issue was... Okay, because I think this will work. I still think this will work. So after this, we will... For each var room in this dot rooms, room dot get component. Alright. Room of type game object. Okay. let's just see if that works. So my room script can have room put back on it. That's no problem. Let's jump back out here. Let's destroy. Go to our console, clear everything. Let's get a clean console, generate. Generate. Okay, so we got a door that time. But again, no. Okay. So that won't work. That will not work. That is okay. I had low expectations for that. I'll have to figure out something else. Did not mean to open up Twitch. Sickmish, thank you for the follow. Greatly appreciate it. Okay. So let's destroy this and regenerate it. Okay, so now it's back to normal. Everything's working as it was originally before I went mad scientist on the project. Okay. If I check the door on this, it's still -2. Why? That I definitely know is fixed. I want the change to be 5. Destroy. So let's go into let's clear the console. Go into our prefabs door. Yes, I'm not setting a value here, so it's not getting that value. Okay. Oh, that's a little weird. But other than that, I'm very happy with this. I don't like that it's only doing north and south right now. But that's okay. I'll have to figure out the randomness about that, but I did get done what I wanted to get done today, which was getting these doors teleporting you across the rooms. So, thank you everybody for watching. Thank you, Sickmish, for the follow again. Greatly appreciate that. I'm gonna end this one here. So I did change my schedule. Plan to do this sort of late night programming, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6:30. So be sure to stay tuned for that if you like this kind of programming content. And then I have other gaming content throughout the week. So stay tuned for that as well. So that's it for me. Thanks guys, and peace out.